Hello and welcome back to the Elsie McClure version. Today we are in chapter 6 of Revelation. We were just talking about the Lamb who can open the scroll, and how all the living creatures started worshiping. And before that, it was the throne of heaven. They were all worshiping there. And before that is to all the 7 churches. Okay? So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into verse 1. Now I watched when the Lamb opened one of the 7 seals, and I heard one of the 4 living creatures say with a voice like thunder, "Come!" And I looked, and behold, a white horse, and its rider had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he came out conquering and to conquer. Okay, so he watched the Lamb open one of the 7 seals, and then all of a sudden, behold, a white horse, its rider had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he came out conquering and to conquer, which is kind of crazy. When he opened the 2nd seal, I heard the 2nd living creature say, "Come," and out came another horse, bright red. Its rider was permitted to take peace from the earth, so that people should slay one another, and was given a great sword. Okay, so one's conquering and to conquer, and the other one was given a great sword, and to take away peace. When he opened the 3rd seal, I heard the 3rd living creature say, "Come." And I looked, and behold, a black horse, and its rider had a pair of scales in his hand. And I heard what seemed to be the voice in the midst of the 4 living creatures, saying, "A quart of wheat for a denarius, and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius, and do not harm the oil and wine." That's really interesting. So wheat and barley are going up in price, but the oil and wine isn't. All right, when he opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th living creature say, so that must be God speaking to the creature with the scales. Anyway, when he opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th living creature say, "Come." And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and its rider's name was Death, and Hades followed him. Now, if we go back to chapter 1, it says that Jesus was given the keys of death and Hades. So now all of a sudden, Death and Hades are back at it. And they were given authority over 1/4 of the earth to kill with sword, and with famine, and with pestilence, and by wild beasts of the earth. Okay. I'm not saying I agree with this perspective, but a perspective that was brought to my light recently is, what if this tribulation, these seals, all these things are happening now and continue until Jesus comes back? Because I know 1/4 of the world is definitely being killed by sword, famine, pestilence, and wild beasts. I just don't think, there's just so much happening. I think that's happening. So it's just thoughts. It's just thoughts. I'm not saying I know what's right or the correct interpretation of this book, but I am saying it's thoughts. Verse 9. When he opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slain for the word of God and for the witness they had borne. They cried out with a loud voice, "O sovereign Lord, holy and true, how long before you will judge and avenge our blood on those who dwell on the earth?" They were each given a white robe and told to rest a little longer, until the number of their fellow servants and their brothers should be complete, who were to be killed as they themselves had been. You know what's crazy? Is people being martyred is part of God's perfect plan. Verse 12, when he opened the sixth seal, I looked, and behold, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth, the full moon became like blood, and the stars of the sky fell on the earth as the fig tree sheds its winter fruit when shaken by a gale. The sky vanished like a scroll that is being rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. Then the kings of the earth and the great ones and the generals and the rich and powerful and everyone slave and free hid themselves in the caves and among the rocks of the mountains, calling to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him who is seated on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of their wrath has come, and who can stand? I don't think that has happened yet. But it's interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yep. That's what I got for y'all. It's a crazy picture. I don't know what it means. Like, I don't know what it would look like for the sky to vanish like a scroll that's being rolled up. I don't know what it looks like for every mountain and island to be removed from its place. But I think it's interesting. It says, hide us from the face of him who is seated on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. So it's God and Jesus that it's like talking about here, who are the same. But anyway, yeah. Come back tomorrow for chapter 7.